guys, it's Lady. Today this video is in a little bit of a different format. As you can see, I thought I'd try doing a time lapse of me painting. The reason for this is I haven't been doing the greatest in my noggin. So, I wanted to paint. Painting is therapy for me. I really haven't done it in a while, so it was just something I thought I could do. It's by no means supposed to be a masterpiece or I didn't really put that much thought into it really. I just kind of am painting what I'm feeling. I didn't have a plan for it. I'm just kind of going with the flow and seeing what'll turn up. And yeah, I'm just kind of painting for self-care. So I hope you like that. For me personally, I like watching people paint. I think it's relaxing. What they're painting doesn't really matter to me. So hopefully you guys get to be relaxed while you're watching this painting. And I hope that you like it and that you think that it's cute. I think it came out cute. So, I also wanted to go in with some scary stories while I paint. Because I thought, just something lighthearted. Because like I said, not the best upstairs right now. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to combine two things that I like. I like painting and I like listening to scary stories. So these are just some scary stories that happened to me when I was a kid, or that people have told me have happened to me, that aren't long enough for a real video. So here, just like 4 lighthearted paranormal stories to just kind of give you like mild creeps while you watch me paint. So the first paranormal story that I have is from my parents' house now, the one where, if you watched my previous paranormal story video, you know that it's the basement where I saw that lady, that ghost lady. So it's the same basement. This is from my brother. I don't know if it's true. He could have been messing with me. That's another reason this is just gonna be a lighthearted paranormal story, because this could absolutely not be true. It could have been him and his friend messing with me, but it was on the same room that I saw that lady, and it was after I saw that lady, so I was inclined to believe it. But my bedroom downstairs, like I said, it was an old office. If you watched my previous paranormal stories video, then you know that room was a home office, and the doors are glass. There's two, they're one of those glass windows, like French doors, I guess they're called. So those doors are see-through, and when my brother would have sleepovers, they would usually sleep in the basement, because if they stayed up all night, they wouldn't wake up anybody else in the house, because I sleep like I'm dead. So I'm like, yeah, you guys can sleep over and talk in the basement and whatever. So apparently while they were having this sleepover, they looked into my room at some point, and they said that they saw my blanket beginning to move. Or I guess maybe that's what happened. One of them noticed that my blanket was moving, so they all looked into my room and noticed that my blanket was slowly being lifted up. And I was still, my head didn't move. I wasn't, squirming or anything. I was just kind of laying down there while this blanket was lifting up. Then it just kind of stopped, and my brother said it looked like there was somebody sitting under the blanket with me, which absolutely scared the crap out of me when he told me. So he did that, or he told me that, sorry. And what he ended up saying is that they stared at it for a while, and then it just eventually came down, and that was that it was, there was nothing else. And when I asked him the next day when he was telling me this, I'm like, why didn't you come in? Why didn't you help me? They literally, all of them were like, well, we wanted to see what would happen to you to know if we should worry. And I'm like, brother of the year. So yeah, he basically said that, and the next morning I was trying to recreate it. I'm like, maybe it was my knee, maybe my knee was lifting up when I was sleeping, and they're like, no, your head didn't move, you weren't moving in your sleep while this was happening. But even went under the blanket, I'm like, did it look like this? And they're like, no, it was taller than that. I'm like, it was taller than this? I extended my leg. I'm like, did it look like that? They're like, no, that's too thin, because it's your leg. It looked like a person sitting cross, under there. And I'm like, oh, that's horrifying. So I kind of hope that one's not true. I texted my brother the other day. He takes forever to text back. It's a family thing. We all take forever to text back. But I texted him the other day. I was like, do you remember this story? Is this true? And he still hasn't texted me back. So, it could not be true. I feel like I'm just telling myself that because I don't like the idea of something lifting up or something happening to me while I'm asleep, because like I said, I sleep like I'm dead. I would not be aware of something happening to me. So I'm I don't like the idea of something paranormal happening when I'm not even aware. So that's story 1. The next story that I have is at my old house. So my family was lucky enough that when my dad's great uncle passed away, we got his cottage. So we had like a cottage and a house. So in my haunted house, well, even while he was alive, he let us go to the cottage. So when I was a teenager, did not like going to the cottage because I have arachnophobia, and it was pretty severe. It's a lot better now, but like it was at a point where like I can't watch it on the screen. Like I can't be within a proximity of a spider. I'll start like screaming and crying and hyperventilating. Like it was really bad. I had really bad arachnophobia, and at the cottage there was like 50 million spiders. So I didn't want to go to the cottage because I had a severe arachnophobia. So I begged them to leave me at home in my haunted home. I'm like, I'll take my chances, which is kind of a butthead move because I'm also really sensitive and scared of a lot of things. And the cottage was about an hour away from my house. Like, it's not too bad. It's not like it was 3 or 6 hours away. It was only an hour away, but it's still an hour to drive. So they left, and during the day it was fine. I was like enjoying myself. I was having a good day, because when you're home alone when you're a teenager, you know, it's a good feeling. Like, I'm the boss of the house and everything's whatever. But then as it started to get dark, like the areas of my house that like scare me started to get creepy. And eventually, like, being upstairs by myself always scared me. I don't know why. It's just I didn't like the energy up there, and being in the basement always scared me. So the place that I always felt the safest was either in my bedroom upstairs, but that's the only room. Like, I wouldn't go to the bathroom upstairs. I wouldn't do anything. Or the living room. Like, those are the only two places in my house that I felt safe. So I was in the living room because I was like, I'm just going to sleep on the couch. Like, that's my plan. Like, I'm scared of this house. I'm just going to watch TV and fall asleep on the couch and just not leave this room. So as I'm watching TV, I start to hear steps coming upstairs. Like, just not coming upstairs, like walking around upstairs. So I get really freaked out. And I don't move because I'm scared. I'm like, my brain is like, this could be a break-in, this could be ghosts. Either way, this is not a good situation for me. So I just hear walking upstairs, and I kind of dive behind the couch and just kind of wait there to see what happens. And I hear it like walking around in circles, walking into my room. Well, not my room. We switched bedrooms a lot because of the fact that the room that ended up being my room was the only room I felt safe, and then every other room I didn't like. But like, it walked into like the room that used to be my room, and I think it was made of, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the living room at that time, or I don't remember. But they walked into that room. It walked into the like my brother's room. You know, I could hear it pacing around, and then it started walking downstairs. So I'm just waiting there, and I have 911 in my phone. I'm like, if I see a person, this is just auto dialing, and I'm, hidden enough that if they walked into the living room, I wouldn't, they wouldn't be able to see me. Like, I was hidden behind the couch. So I hear them walking down the stairs, and it gets to the last step, and then there's no more steps. And I'm sitting there for like 20 minutes being scared of these steps, and I can't hear anything. I don't hear breathing. I don't hear moving. It stopped right at the bottom stair. And after like 20 or 30 minutes of texting, like, I think there's someone in my house. Like, I remember texting my cousin, I think there's someone in my house. I eventually got the courage, because I know that I can unlock the front door pretty quick. Like, it wasn't an easy door to unlock, but I could unlock it pretty quick. And the living room was right next to the front door. That I was like, I can do, like, I kind of did like a not quick little, but like a creepy, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I stealthily, I guess would be the word. Like, I'm dumb. I stealthily walked like to the end of the couch, and then looked into the hallway where there should be a person there, and there was nobody there. So I just dashed outside because I was a scaredy cat, and I, sat on my porch, and then eventually after a bit was like, I'll go back inside. And then I didn't go back inside. I didn't. And then eventually, like, I just like, screw it. I ended up locking myself out, and then calling my parents, because I was like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm sorry. I chickened out. Our house is haunted, and I don't like being there by myself. So there was that story, but it was so scary in the moment. Like, it doesn't sound scary to talk about, but when you're in the moment, when you think there's somebody in your house, that's really creepy. The next story that I have is in my parents' new house, same basement that the lady thing took place in. So what happens in this story is like I had my bedroom, but I rented downstairs. So in the like main area, I made like a mini living room. Like I had a small TV, a shelf, and then instead of a couch, I had like a little seaty, like, you know, like one of those 2-seat couches that have like the legs. And what I ended up doing is it doesn't have like pull out cushions. Like it's not a couch. Like you have the back piece and then the seat, and they screw in. So there's no like cushions. It's just like those two parts. So what ended up happening is sometimes I would fall asleep in like my main area, or like I called my main area. And what happened there was I fell asleep on that CD, and, you know, just watching TV. I didn't go to my room. And I was like half asleep. No, I didn't fall asleep. I was half asleep. I was like about to fall asleep when I felt like a pressure on the side of my face pushing me into the edge of like the seaty, where like the armrest meets the seat meets the back cushion, and my face got pushed into that corner. And as I was starting to wake up, I'm like, oh, I think this is sleep paralysis. I should start trying to wake up because I'm half asleep. The pressure went from the side of my head or the side of my face to the back of my head, and just like rammed my face into the corner of that couch. And the rest of my body, like I woke up like immediately. Like I was so startled, and it was kind of horrifying that I could move the rest of my body, because I'm like, this isn't sleep paralysis then. Because I grabbed with both my hands, I grabbed the back of the seat and the armrest and tried pushing my face out of this thing, and I couldn't breathe because there's no like space for air in there, and my nose was getting like, sorry, I'm like doing the hand motions while I'm telling the story, but my face was getting pushed into the corner of that couch cushion door handle thing, not door handle, side like armrest. And I just remember like pushing really hard and panicking because I couldn't breathe and I didn't know what was going on. And eventually, I don't know why, but just as quickly as it started like ramming my head in, it let up. And I just kind of like pushed myself off the thing and like fell back, and then ran up the stairs because I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't know why I insisted to sleep down there. I have no idea why, but I did. So that was that story, where it was really scary. I don't know what it was. I don't know why it started pushing my face into the couch and why it let up, but you know, I'm glad it did, and I'm not anywhere near that place anymore. But yeah, there's that story. And the last story that I have for you today, probably what I'm going to use in the thumbnail, is something that happened to me in my OG old house, the one where I just talked about, where I heard the walking. So this is the house from like my first paranormal story, where, well, if you watched my first paranormal stories video, like it has like pictures of my house. It's like an old creepy century house. And I would remember talking to my mom, like, I don't know why this stuff always happens to me. And she's like, yeah, it's been happening to you for a while. And I was like, what do you mean? She tells me the story of like when she was home alone with me and I was like a month old, and she, like, I couldn't lift up my own weight or anything. Like I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, like I was very young, and there was nobody else in the house. So she said that she remember leaving me in my crib with like the things pushed up. Like we had one of those cribs that you like lock in, which in hindsight is dangerous, but they didn't know that in the 90s. So we had one of those push-up cribs, and my mom was with me, and she said that she left me in that crib, and I can't remember if I was awake or asleep, but she said that she left me for like a minute or something just to do something. Like I think she was folding laundry on the bed, and then she went to go put it in the main closet, and when she came back, I was gone. I was just out of there. She had no idea where I went. So she basically said that she started like looking around for me and calling for me, and she didn't know where I went. And she was like freaking out because she was the only one home, and like how can a newborn baby get out of their crib, you know, like especially with the railing pushed up. Like it's not like I could lift my own weight at that point. So she said that like she looked around until she heard like a blowing raspberry sound, like a like coming from under the bed or under the crib. And when she checked down there, I was just there blowing spit bubbles with my mouth, blowing raspberries, and laughing. And so she like got me from out of the crib, and then just like she didn't let me out of her sight for the rest of the day, and she was just like really nervous. But like I was like, well, what did you do? Like, why didn't you run out of the house? And she was like, well, because you were laughing, I figured it wasn't a bad spirit, so you know, I just kind of was like, okay, I guess this is like, you know, them playing with you or something. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Just because it's like, oh, I'm laughing, so I guess it's a good thing. So that was apparently stuff's been bothering me since before I was born. It's forever been like, you know, I guess they've always seen like, oh, she's sensitive, let's bug this kid, and then they just never stopped. So those are all my quick, not so in-depth, scary paranormal stories that, I hope was like an easy thing to listen to. I hope you enjoyed watching this painting. I hope this video was very like chill and entertaining for you, because that's what I was kind of going for with it. I completely forgot to mention anything about the painting. You can see the painting. It's a little ghost. And as you can see, I've gone back and added stars to it. I hope you guys like this painting. I think it came out pretty cute. It's pretty warm and cute looking. Obviously, I'm missing a Halloween season. This actually came out really Halloween-y. But also like really cute. Like, I'll hang this up. This is cute. I'm happy with the way this painting turned out. Like, it's not a masterpiece, but it's cute. I'm happy with it. Anyway, guys, like I was saying before, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week, and until then, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!